So I'm going to tell you what's real, and it is. Caught the church playing a play, stupid play. Caught people, they're so bad off in certain places that they're willing to stab their brother or mother to get ahead. They'll tell you the biggest lie, the biggest thing. They don't care. They'll do whatever to get ahead. The professionals in some places, they're so out of control that they'll lie to you. I mean, I'm sorry, science doesn't work that way. I mean, it shouldn't work that way. It works for somebody that's subpar, but it causes a lot of mess everywhere else. So imagine I'm sitting down with a scientist and we're talking about actual facts that actually matter, and there's a factual thing that is empirical, and that scientist sits there and tells you, no, that never happened. And then in come some Islamists, and I mean skin color, everything, and they tell you, find God. And then a group of women stand around and they tell you, this is our opportunity to come in. And in the middle of working on, I don't know, some very high science, they stand around and they want to talk about who's fucking who and some sort of moral thing and whose vagina is bigger than the other woman's. That's truth. And then we have some construction workers that violate other people because they have access to certain things. That's truth. So that's the thing that amazes me, is somehow these certain individuals in certain positions say, we have a tag, and that tag means we're doing things. But you're not doing things. You have societal decay. For example, if I caught a church tossing children in volcanoes for some mathematical, supposedly scientific, moral reason, I would take away your funding. Just like I would take away the funding of a college that cannot stay focused on mathematical assessment and science, and then start playing gossiping, destroying families, destroy your city, while a black man stands there and tells a bunch of people that he can't find something when everyone else in the entire world can. And you have the biggest military bases in the entire world, CIA and FBI, they can find it, I can find it, but they stand there and say they can't. Take away all your rights, so a group of black people can walk into your temple, then walk out and act like they're morally superior. And then when you're walking down the street minding your own business, they assault you and hit you and then throw stuff at you because they're victims. But they're not victims. And then they test it and they go to a mall and they crank their music up so loud that no one else would dare do that sort of stuff in this certain public place. Not like that, but these people will. And then they'll stand around and tell you that it's okay to kill 15-year-olds by poisoning them after everyone made it quite clear that something is poison and not to do it, but they decide, hey, we're going to go in and poison those 15-year-olds. And then uphold some skinny little person because, hey, we don't know. We hate the person that's trying, and we hate the scientist, and we hate the feds, and we hate these people that built good laws, and we just want to be subpar. We're subpar. We know we're subpar, and we want to screw you all over. So that's truth. That's truth in the early 21st century, and I'm not putting up with it. I don't care what kind of degree you have, what kind of moral thing you think you do. No, I went to the biggest place in the entire world. I have the highest discernment. When I was 5 years old, I had deep philosophical debates within myself. And if I catch you killing children so you could be subpar, I'm going to throw you in federal prison. We're going to have a return to societal function. You're not going to be subpar. You know, I was looking today. I had someone that told me, if you just ignore it or just let them, they have degrees and so on and such, let them do their thing, just ignore it, go about your way. Then I come back and I look at what you do. Then they're in black and white. You're fucking up. Who's got the biggest vagina? I have a moral superiority above the Fed, supposedly. I want to talk about someone's vagina and playing gossip and insanity. Look at me, and I'm an empowered woman. I have a message to tell. I wished I was making this stuff up. Meanwhile, these individuals, through the biggest good in the entire world, told all the multi-million-dollar businesses, fuck you, and they decided that they're better than everyone else out of pride and stupidity and trying to keep all their secrets and having rituals by tossing children in volcanoes and taking down professionals that actually do try while uplifting criminals that break into homes for real. and then spinning a bunch of stuff. Of course, I never speak without being absolutely documented. Thank you for documenting it for me. You've done it on your own. We have some very important things to take care of. I see I can't do it here. I see that even though I wanted to believe in you with all my heart, that you are good, intelligent, smart individuals, you have destroyed your own city, you have destroyed a lot of big things, you have caused a lot of messes, and I have seen the most hideous things imaginable. Maybe to you it's not hideous because you think it's normal, but that's on the same level of me being in a third world country and watching people toss children in volcanoes and say, this is normal, this is what we got to do, be a hero, sacrifice children in volcanoes. Yeah, I don't think you're going to receive a grant anytime soon because you can't focus on high sciences, you can't focus on societal function. Meanwhile, I do sort of blame a few key individuals because you came in and you said something that wasn't true, you caused a big mess. I'm an ultra-legal citizen, and I'm backed and documented, and, well, there's more, but I can't do this here. I really can't, and some people, they're like, oh, I tore everything down, they go back, they drink all day long, they're back smirking, violating children. I wish I was making it up. I mean, what gives you the right to poison 15-year-old children that are still going to school, and they tell you, I trust you, I believe in you, and then use women, their stupidity and their gossiping and whatever to attack those children, then manipulate the entire situation so you can have a gateway to murder and be insane? Or what gives you the right to attack trustees? And I've already caught in black and white that you guys like to play with things, and you screw up minds and you screw up a lot of stuff, and you're not going to receive any grants. I mean, the biggest good walked in the world, and a black man, a real black man, and I explained everything to him very plainly, why it was very important, and I said, you're a black man, you said you were a victim, I remember when my family stood up for your rights. And if anyone should know, if anyone should know, it should be you. But you played head games and you said you couldn't find anything. You stood against the CIA, the biggest military bases, and the international community, and that's on you, not me. That's on you, not me. And you should be punished for it, not 15-year-old kids, not someone else that done all the right things. Now they're sleeping outside while you abuse the system so you can go home at night and feel high and moral and wonderful, like an outstanding citizen in a community. No, maybe in Africa, I do want to insult you because I find it very insultful that my family can stand up for you and have all these high discernments, and you expect those things to be there for you, but you take it away from someone else. You wouldn't even have your job if it wasn't for my family. And that's a guarantee. And then I'm also watching some other people, they like to twist something. You wouldn't have rights either, quite honestly. So I have big important things to do. I don't care if you get mad. Look, in third world countries, when they toss children in volcanoes, they get mad, they get angry, but guess what? The world leaders stand up and then they make something great, and then your subpardinus comes in and says, I want to be a part of that, like you always do. I'm not letting you do that sort of stupid stuff. It's not a fantasy, that is truth. And here's another truth. When I was 5 years old, I had deep philosophical debates within myself. I'm genetically superior to you mentally because I am a genius. That's just genetics. I don't need education, but I had an education. And not only did I have an education, unlike anyone else traditionally and otherwise, but I also tutored a bunch of people in almost every field you could possibly imagine. And not only did I do that, but I have worked on brand new things that none of you even knew about until they came about, and I'm doing it again. So I'm not putting up with your archaism. I'm not going to, just because you're that way, I'm not trying to offend you. But look, when you're given a job or you're given a position and you go out into the world, you know what your position and your job is, and you know what you're supposed to be doing. And you're supposed to be using it for good. But when you don't do that, I'm not sticking around. Other people are not sticking around. I'm not going to listen to you stand around and gossip and make up some sort of ritual thing that you're going to toss children in volcanoes. Who's got the biggest pussy? Who's got the biggest cock? And then you go in and poison some 15-year-olds, so when they grow up, you can say, you're a worthless piece of shit, hoping that they don't know that you poisoned them and ruined them. That is truth.